Hello again and welcome back to another one. And today we have a couple of topics to cover, from one that shows 50 Cent expand on why he'll always have Eminem's back no matter what, and 50 dropped a wild example to get his point across.
Some things never change.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
And today we also got one that triggered an entire fan base for good reason, especially without the right context, after rapper Rich the Kid took credit for Ye's last #1 hit.
You have to be firm, give 'em an inch and they think they're a ruler.
And we also got to hear from Method Man about how he ended up on Tupac's Diamond album, All Eyes on Me, and he also took the moment to make a special request. And Daz Dillinger, who produced the record, also made an announcement just hours ago for fans to send prayers to Kurupt. And we also got The Game, who's been getting dragged by users on social media as he's been on a streak of L's, embarking on strange endeavors since dissing Eminem and Dr. Dre backfired.
It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for him.
It didn't pay off.
And we'll get to this later. And starting with Ye, after being one of the most successful rappers of all time, selling over 128 million equivalent albums globally, which makes him the third biggest rapper of all time based on equivalent album sales, Rich the Kid, who was featured on Carnival, took to IG a few hours ago to make some inflammatory comments that triggered Ye fans, as you'd expect, when he posted, "I gave Ye his last #1 in 15 years, and maybe his last. Think about it, c'est la vie." And it is actually a 13-year gap and not 15 if we include features like E.T.
You're welcome.
You can thank me later.
But for lead credits, it was Ye's first #1 in 17 years, and Ye fans weren't having it online as posts like these blew up. Ye should have never worked with this clown, with some asking, why is Rich suddenly crashing out? Did he beg for another feature and get denied this time? And while it is true, Rich the Kid has earned just one #1 hit on the Hot 100 in his career, which just happens to be Carnival, but I guess he's taking credit for the song because according to past interviews, he revealed that he's responsible for making the decision that made the song land on Vultures. And here's a quick backstory from an interview with Complex, where Rich the Kid revealed that he flew to Saudi Arabia to work on 2 songs with Ty Dolla $ign, and when Ye heard the songs and wanted him on Vultures, Ty Dolla $ign asked him about which song fit the project better, and Rich the Kid told him Carnival, and the rest was history. So I guess this is why Rich the Kid is taking credit for giving Ye his 5th #1, because in his opinion, he made the key decision when he was asked. And this would be like Paul Rosenberg taking credit for Love the Way You Lie because it ended up going #1, since Paul Rosenberg was responsible for pushing Eminem to add it to Recovery last minute.
It really happened?
Yeah, really.
Since Eminem was pretty much done with the album when Paul Rosenberg made the suggestion. And according to Eminem, at the time he thought of Paul Rosenberg as being a pain in the bum, but it turned out to be a #1 and went diamond in the United States. And back on topic, with the context in mind, now you see why Rich the Kid could fix his lips and brag about giving Ye his last #1. But of course, the roasting session is still on, since Rich the Kid was obviously looking for attention.
You think the man got paid? Man, who invented these?
Shit, you richer than a motherfucker.
Why? You think you get a percentage?
Why not?
The man who invented them things, just some sad ass down at the basement of McDonald's. Thinking of some shit to make some money for the real players. Nah, man, that ain't right. Fuck right. It ain't about right, it's about money.
Damn. And we got to hear from Method Man about the story behind the stacked Got My Mind Made Up on All Eyes on Me that's got Daz Dillinger, Kurupt, Method Man, and Redman.
You know, speaking of what you and Red were able to do, I think a very underrated song on All Eyes on Me is I Got My Mind Made Up.
Yeah, that process was weird. Well, not weird. It was different after the process. Let's just put it that way.
Explain what you mean by that.
Because we didn't know that that was going to be a Tupac record. When we initially did it, like I had a great relationship with Snoop, Dogg Pound, the whole crew. You know what I'm talking about? So anytime they was on the East, chop it up. I go pick them up, take them to a couple of weed spots, smoke, whatever. Boom, I go to the West Coast, same deal. On this particular day, Daz came and scooped up myself, Red, and Inspector Deck. Went to Dad's crib, wife cook our ass off, boom, eating. all that. Threw on the beat, Rage was there as well. Now, where Tupac has his verse, that was originally a Lady of Rage verse. So we all in there, we laid our verses down, you know, now we playing NBA Live, because there was no NBA 2K then. We playing NBA Live, he washing everybody up. It's his crib, of course he's gonna wash everybody up. But then, I say the whole thing with Tupac coming home and all that, and he's making his album and all that, we forgot about the record. I personally forgot all about the record. And then he dropped, and they were playing it on New York radio. Now, people always ask, like, how did I feel about it? I didn't feel no kind of way about it. It's just a record that I had done, you know what I mean? Plus, I like Tupac. Fuck they talking about and shit, whatever. But then there's the relationship I had with Big. Me and Big was cool. And Big was such a cool motherfucker, never even mentioned that shit. I never even said nothing about it, seen him many times after that record and all that, because he knew it was just music. At that point in time, nobody knew what the process was, that me and Redman did that song for a Dogg Pound album, but it was submitted for Tupac's album, and he put his verse in, and the rest is history and shit. It was weird because I had no knowledge of that happening, and I heard it when everybody else heard it.
Really?
Yeah, I'm still waiting for my plaque too. I want my All Eyes on Me plaque. I'm waiting on that. Thank you very much, sir. Birthday, March 2nd. Yes.
Hey, you heard it here on The Pivot.
Right.
Give my dog his plaque.
Yes.
And while users are going off with "Get his plaque ASAP" at Snoop Dogg, we needed that song at that time. But I believe these users are tagging the wrong person. Interscope should be getting tagged, the same Interscope known for dragging their feet when it comes to updating certifications, unless it is time to use it for some promo. And speaking on Kurupt, we gotta find out that he's been hospitalized from Daz Dillinger hours ago, and he shared a message to fans on IG. God said, "We shall live and not die." Wanna send a big shout out to my big brother, Kurupt. Get well. Speedy recovery. Need all fans to send Kurupt a get well message. Flaunt his Instagram. Tell him how much we love him. Rest in peace to my cousin Joe, Cool Nate Dogg, and others that we lost. So I need everybody to hit Kurupt and let them know that we love him from his little brother Daz. Life is serious. Shout out to Lily for holding it down. Dogg Pound Gangsters for life. God first. And we are sending prayers to Ricardo Emmanuel Brown, aka Kurupt, wishing him a speedy recovery. And we got 50 Cent out here reminding music fans why he would always have Eminem's back due to what he was up against before he got signed.
He came to Def Jam and presented a demo.
I was blocking it, just quite honestly, because he was shitting on us. Murder, your life's on the line.
That was early.
Nigga, he was shitting
like
on us from the conception of his career.
Boss is a bitch, if he could, he would. Sell his soul for cheap, trade his life to be sure.
He was coming at us. I hated on him to where he landed with M and Dre. I'm a way smarter person now. I would have fucking organized his deal and controlled it. And he would have never got dun.
Right.
Go.
He would have never got that Dre monster, you understand? But I done blocked this nigga to where he fell in the lap of Eminem, right? Biggest rapper in the universe with a white fan base that all became his fan base.
Right.
So,
And 50 Cent just couldn't help himself. He reminded us why he's hip-hop's favorite villain as he posted the clip and added the caption, "Yayo did not understand why I wouldn't do a deal with Universal. They offered me 1.3 million and we was broke. Eyes emoji. I said no, y'all can keep that. Now you see why I love Eminem so much. If he ran your kid over with a car, I'd say no, he didn't. LOL." And to give you an example of why 50 Cent dodged the 10th bullet by going with Eminem, the bullet that could have ended his rap career, take Papoose for instance. Pap reportedly signed for $1.5 million with Jive Records. He would go on to describe this as the worst mistake of his life. 50 Cent, on the other hand, knew that it was not just about the money, it was also about who you ended up working with and much more. And some have concluded, there's really something special about Eminem. I've always heard people talk good about him, and this statement by 50 Cent proves that again. And on 50, we got Fat Joe out here with an interesting debate on 50 Cent versus Snoop Dogg.
Well, I'm about to say it's blasphemy. I've always said Snoop Doggy Dogg is the most famous rapper. I think 50 Cent knocking on his door. What do you think? Snoop Dogg, 50 Cent?
What does it matter what I think? Fifth is very known. Snoop is very known.
No, Snoop has held the title.
Reasons.
That name, Snoop Dogg, has come out my mouth for 20 years, pause. Well, yo, who's the most famous? Snoop Dogg. This is the first time I'm looking and I'm like, does 50 Cent have a legitimate shot at being the most famous rapper on earth? I just think his presence on social media is just out of control. My guys in Dubai tell me they learn the news in America from 50 Cent. He'll give you the news ahead of time.
And before I get to who I believe is more famous and why, this take got me rolling. Yeah, no, not in my opinion. Nas or Jay-Z. Perhaps this user thought it was a question about who's the best rapper, because I refuse to believe there's someone out there who believes Nas or Jay-Z are more world famous than Snoop and 50. And the user continued, Dre, Cube, possibly Snoop, maybe Rakim to the old heads. Black Thought should be up there. Scarface, Eminem, 50 though. Dude trolled himself out of famous. I'd rather meet Nelly. So in the end, I don't know if this user is talking about fame or who's the best rapper. It is all over the place, but hilarious nonetheless. And personally, I believe Snoop is more famous than 50, just going off who is more recognizable. Although 50's kind of fame is more valuable than Snoop. Like if they were to do a world tour, 50 would outsell Snoop easily. Or if they were to feature in a film, 50 would earn more than Snoop. That's what I mean by fame that's more valuable. But what are your thoughts? And things have been rough for the game, since he thought it was a good idea to clout chase off of Eminem and Dre, all because he wasn't invited to perform at the Super Bowl. And a few hours ago, a video hit the web showing Game take part in the 20 Women vs. 1 Rapper show that sparked reactions like, this is where his career has resorted to, and the user was reminded that Game is back where he started. Time is a flat circle.
Hey, bro, come on now, dog. Come on, man.
And this was from the show Change of Heart, before Game became Game, when Game lost his girl on TV for being a bum at the time.
He has goals in his life. I know what he wants to do in life. And JT, he just don't know what to do. He was taking classes with me, and he has nothing going
Doing
for
too much
himself.
for you. Me and Arena went out, and we had a date. I had the most fun that I've ever had in my life.
You're lying. You're always lying.
She's beautiful, everything that you can want in a woman, but my heart is with Sadida, so that's...
So you say stay together. What's your decision?
Well, I would like to thank Renard for showing me, a real good time. I hope this experience would teach JT a lesson. I've had to change of heart.
It tore me apart, but I learned an important lesson. You can't count on anyone.
And the new game theory looks to be picking up steam. The game is one of the worst industry plants of all time, which got this response: y'all just call anybody an industry plant nowadays, to which the OP expanded. He didn't rap 2 years before being signed by Jimmy Iovine, Dr. Dre, Eminem and 50 Cent, and his debut album was giving a budget of like $5 million for top beats from Prime Timbaland, Just Blaze. Yay, you'd have to be in denial to think otherwise. Meanwhile, he's appearing before fame on reality shows like the above, which is a typical tactic to soft launch media stars. And not saying I agree, but to make matters worse, Game claimed that he woke up out that coma 2001 about the same time Dre dropped 2001.
Hey, bro, come on now, dog. Come on, man.
And I'll be looking forward to your thoughts in the comment section. Thanks for watching, and I will see you on the next one.
I've had to change of heart.
It's almost as if I had died and was reborn.